good here.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Do you miss me? Did you miss me? I'm back. But hey, in all seriousness, thank you so much for being here today with what is a very exciting day for Kings basketball. We're here to welcome our next head coach, Mr. Doug Christie. An exciting time again for the organization. You all know Doug very well, as I do, and he was a legendary player here with the Sacramento Kings. But before I bring Doug on, I want to share with you just why I believe so strongly that Doug Christie is the right person to lead this franchise moving forward. As I mentioned to you last week, I first met Doug as a player when he was with the Toronto Raptors. And at that moment, I saw a young man who was extremely professional, hardworking, dedicated to his craft. And then I was fortunate enough 8 years ago when I worked here for a short time in Sacramento to get to know Doug Christie, the man, learn more about his character, which I value deeply. And so from afar this past season, when I was sitting at home in Florida watching a lot of NBA basketball, I got a chance to observe Doug Christie take over as the head coach here, and quite frankly, which was a very difficult situation. He did so with class, poise. He had a tremendous presence on the court. I watched him connect with this group of players that led to some success on the court. That connectivity was very obvious to me. Doug, in doing so through this turbulent time, posted a winning record while also improving the team's offensive efficiency. But above and beyond all of that, Doug Christie embodies the values that I so deeply treasure and appreciate, and what we're going to build this organization on. And I mentioned them to you before: professionalism, toughness, discipline, a defensive mindset, and a selfless, team-oriented approach on the offensive end of the floor. I've given Doug my full support and will continue to do so and help him set the course and the vision for his long-term success and our long-term success. So with that being said, I'd like to present to all of you, it's my honor to present to you Doug Christie, the next head coach of the Sacramento Kings.
Scotty, thank you. Thank you, guys. First and foremost, thank you to Scott. I will say that I appreciate you all for being here today. You guys, a lot of you know me, and you know how I feel about this. I am humbled, honored, and grateful to be sitting beside Scott in this position right now. I want to thank my family. I want to thank King's leadership, Scott, our players, and an incredible fan base to trust me with this beautiful jewel, because that's how I envision it. You've heard me say it before, but we have unfinished business. And that's my mindset going into what we're approaching right now. This game will leave a hole in your heart. It will. It's difficult. It'll take something from you. And the odd thing about that is, it's the only thing that can fill that void. So with that, I accept the challenge, the opportunity, and I'm truly, truly grateful to be sitting here right now. Thank you. With that, we'll have questions.
Scott, I have a question for you. When you had your press conference about a week ago, you laid out those identity traits, some of them you just mentioned there, and many of those we'd heard from Doug before over the last handful of months that he was here. Over the week of consideration that you had for this position, did Doug just seem like he was a seamless fit for you?
Oh, absolutely. You know, what I mentioned to you last week, you know, I've sat down with everybody in this organization, from people that work in the kitchen to everybody in the front office. I took the time. I wanted to learn the stories of everybody in this building. Obviously, Doug was someone that I spent a lot of extra time with. And the more we talked, the more seamless it felt to me. It was just a natural fit because we see the game in a lot of the same ways, even though I wasn't as good as player as Doug. But the values and the core and the intangibles of this game of basketball, we both have a deep appreciation for. And it was important for us, that whoever's sitting in that head coaching seat could carry that out the very best. And Doug obviously fit that bill, and that's why he's sitting here. And I have tremendous confidence in him being able to uplift, inspire all those around him so that we can have some sustainable success.
Scott, I just wanted to ask you.
That's Tony, right?
Tony.
I remember, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Based on, your comments last week, you said, you were filtering calls from other aspects, but I won't get into that. I just want to know, when did you come to the decision to decide that, Doug was going to be your man? Because, yes, he did have to operate as the leader, the interim leader, under some difficult situations, this past season during those 51 games.
Yeah, after our press conference, obviously I had some informal conversations with different people that I know. Look, you're looking at a Grizzly veteran here in terms of the hiring process of coaches, and I pretty much know all of the coaches that are out here that may or may not have been available. But in talking with Doug, the more I talked to him, and the more that obviously his familiarity with this market and the market with him, and there's just, again, the core values that he expressed. And it's important that this relationship be a very strong relationship, that we can communicate freely, openly, and over the weekend, that really felt natural and comfortable to me. Because look, once we start the season, there are going to be highs and lows. I don't care how good a team you have or how bad a team you have. There's adversity that hits in this league. He showed me his integrity and character, how he dealt with dealt with difficulty this past season. So I'm comfortable with that when I saw how he did that. And I know my own self. So, moving forward, I have a saying, we'd always agree to disagree. I ended the press conference last week talking about diversity of thought, but with unity of purpose. We represent that as a whole, and that's going to be our guiding principle. And so I'm extremely confident that we're going to work very well together.
Hi, guys. Scott and Doug. Just wanted to ask if you guys have thought about what the roster might look like moving forward. I know it's kind of early, but what do you think the roster is going to look like this season?
You have any ideas? No. Of course, that's obviously something that we're going to talk about each and every day. For me, I'm learning everybody, like I told you last week. I've just been here a week longer than when I met with you last week, so haven't had an opportunity to really watch these guys work on the floor. Doug has had that opportunity, but like I mentioned, we're going to be very prudent and opportunistic in how we address this roster and try to improve this team moving forward.
Over here. This goes actually to both of you guys.
Okay.
Doug, you just recently said in the beginning there that you have unfinished business. And with that being said, what would you say the coming in is the objective, the goal, where exactly? I mean, obviously every team wants to win a championship. That's the ultimate goal. But as far as unfinished business and your vision for this team, and this can be to both of you guys, what is that?
Yeah, good, Scotty.
Oh, well, look, the vision for this team, obviously, we're both wired to win, obviously. But we're not going to skip steps either. So I think this year is really about establishing an identity. I talked a lot about that last week, and a foundation of what it means to be a Sacramento Kings basketball player. And that's really, for us in year one, is going to be our North Star or true evaluator of where we're at. Is what are we going to be? What are we going to reflect on this court? We have to start building that. So as we move through the season, when we play opponents, or when you fans come, the media and the local Sacramento fan base comes to games, they know what they're going to get and what they're going to see in this team. So that identity has to start being established right away, and I'm confident Doug's going to be able to do that.
You know, to echo that, a lot of people talk about culture, and for me, habits build culture. Culture is a byproduct of habits, and we want to establish a very, very high level of those. But also the ability for our team to be a physical manifestation of this community. It's blue collar, it's hardworking, it's loyal. It's so loyal that it kept the team here. And we want players that are going to represent that. That they, when they come through the turnstiles and when they leave, they know that they've gotten every piece of what they thought. Heart, soul, blood, sweat, tears, they get it all. And that's what this community is about. And I think that that's what Scott is saying, to echo him, is what we want to be about. Yeah.
A question for both of you, but if I'll start with you real quick, Doug. Just, you look at what you went through, taking over kind of mid-season. You talked about, the airplane being in the air. As you look forward, just what has to be different for you? Obviously having a staff, but what did you recognize maybe within the day in, day out grind of things that has to adapt or has to change in order for you to be successful here?
Well, I think the first thing is sitting right next to me right here. Like Scott led, just comes in and leans on credibility. He leans on steadying things out. And just our conversations, like that probably gives me the biggest sense of calm and knowing that going forward, the path will be, like he said, North Star. Like we're headed toward the right direction. And for me, just personally, that's the biggest thing, is Scott and the direction that we go from here.
Yeah. And then Scott, for you, just knowing what Doug not only means to this fan base and this organization and the city, his passion of wanting to be here, how much easier did that make your decision in the sense of maybe what the process looked like?
Definitely a confirmation for me, obviously, but even if I was somewhere else, though, to be quite frank with you, this man exhibits the qualities that I would want represented in my team. And I think that is the strongest endorsement that I can give of him. Yeah, he's special to this community, and that's not lost on me. But above and beyond everything else, it's the character of the man. It's the passion that he displays for the game. I can tell that he's going to be a coach that is always trying to find answers, learn more about his craft. Look, I'm a former coach, and I'm the first to tell him or anybody else, it's not an easy job. It's the most second-guess job in the world, probably. But he is made of the type of internal fortitude, I believe, necessary to navigate those waters, and I thought he got a quick baptism by fire this past season in doing so, and it showed me a lot.
Doug, you, of course, are very familiar with this fan base, this city, what this city is all about.
Yeah.
Asking you about Scott, how well do you think he fits and embodies like this city and this organization with what he wants to do and what he brings to this city?
That's an easy one. You could at least throw a curveball or a fastball at me. Simple, like just talking to him. I think that you guys get the gist of what Scott is about. You can hear the professionalism, you can hear the drive and desire, but you can also hear cutting through all the bull. And that's one of the things that I truly appreciate about him from talking to him is I know that I'm going to get the honest. And that's one of the things that in our business you don't always get, and I appreciate that. So, yeah, we got the right guy.
Cool. Hey guys, over here, Scott. I wanted to start.
Can I
with
get your
you.
name? I
Yes,
didn't
I'm
look
Brandon Benitez. I'm with CBS 13.
Hey, Brandon, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. I
Yes,
didn't
sir.
get a chance to meet you last week.
No, correct.
Okay, all
Yes,
right.
correct. Yes, I wanted to ask you. Just, it felt like a lot of the key players on this team spoke really highly of Doug, especially in their exit interviews. How much weight did that hold, knowing that you wanted a guy that is going to be able to lead them and help turn things around?
Well, obviously, it's important that you feel a connectivity from the players. As I mentioned last week, I talked to all of them. They have a great deal of respect for this man here. I know that's important in that position. Look, because those are the guys, ultimately, they have to be inspired by him. They got to inspire themselves first, but then secondly, they got to be inspired by him and trust in his abilities, his knowledge about the game, and put them in the very best positions to succeed. So I heard nothing but positive things from them. So again, that is helpful, but not necessarily the sole decider in it. But I'm going to always take into account. If you'll learn more about me, I'm someone that takes, when I make a decision, it's 360 degrees. I listen to a lot of information. Again, I'm going to say it. You're probably going to get tired of hearing it. Diversity of thought, but with unity of purpose. That is our guiding principle, and that's how I made this decision, as I will make any other decisions regarding this organization.
And then, Doug, for you, a couple departures from the coaching staff, just when we're trying to fill in the pieces of what's going to make you successful, now that it's a full-time gig, of course, what sticks out to you, or traits perhaps that you're going to want for guys that are going to be on that bench with you?
A lot of the things that you've heard Scott and I speak upon, from a driving desire, a passion, the ability to think and deal with adversity at a high level. There has to be a calmness, and because our players are going to feel that, and we want them to go on the court and have a passion, have an aggressiveness, have a super aggressiveness, but at the same time be calm, and that comes from our coaching staff.
Doug, congratulations.
Thank you.
Just kind of following up on that, do you have any specific names for your staff that you've already picked out, or is that kind of going to be a work in progress?
Jay, why you always be asking those questions? Man?
Exactly.
I know. He always firing the questions. No, I mean, we're actively going to be pursuing all of that in the coming days. Like you heard Scott, he was 1 week, got another week, and we have to have the ability to sit down and communicate and talk, and we will be doing that going forward.
And then for you, Scott, with your conversations with the players, was there anything that stood out to you, anything that surprised you with the roster that you have here, or anything in particular?
No, nothing that surprised me. I mean, obviously, as I mentioned with Doug, going through a difficult season, that was expressed to me, but a resilient group of guys overall, and I think a lot of them obviously are looking to turn the page. They're excited about the direction we're going to be heading with this ball club, and I'm looking forward to working with them. What transpired in the past, transpired in the past. That's over. Really, it's in the rearview mirror. It's a waste of time for any of us now to really think about. It's what do we do today, tomorrow, and the days after that are going to dictate just how well we do.
You just mentioned it too, Doug. Now you have the opportunity to not necessarily start from scratch, but you have an off season, to put together your system. Just want to know, what's going to be one of the first few things that you will put in details.
I mean, more than anything, I need to decompress a little bit, to be honest with you, man. Take a breath, sit down and talk to Scott about a lot of different ideas and visions that I have. I know that he comes from, he was a coach, he's been a general manager, he's been around this league for a long time. And I'm going to lean on that because I think that there's power in that. And the fact that he's willing to sit with me and have those conversations, that's where I'm going to start at.